Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marabella's Voice. I have so much content to share with you, and I am so happy that the SBA finally opened the portal again. So, for anyone that didn't have a chance to get your EIDL loan, the Eidl loan, well, guess what? It's open, so I suggest for you to do it as soon as possible, so that way you'll be able to get your $1,000 per employee. I actually spoke today to the SBA trying to find out what happens to the people that applied before. Well, there's a lot of people that applied before, but remember about the whole thing of the $10,000 that they were supposed to get in advance 3 days from the application date. Well, I asked them that question, and what they advised me, all they know is that at this time it stands still $1,000 per employee. But they said as of right now, meaning that they don't know what could happen tomorrow. So this is something that we have to continue fighting, and it never stated that that you could only get $1,000 per employee. So hopefully we could keep on fighting for that. One of the questions that I actually asked was, portal open only for new applicants or for anyone that applied before and got denied? The SBA advised me was that this portal is actually open to every single applicant. But if you did apply before and did get denied, what they suggest for you to do is to do a reconsideration letter, which you would have to submit your last income tax that you actually did if you did 2019. And if you haven't done your 2019, they will base it off 2018. So by what they said is that you submit that to them and then they will reconsider. So if you had any issues with credit or any other issues that's stated on the denial letter, that's the way that you could go about in order for the SBA to reconsider your application again. You need to make sure to put on the reconsideration letter the reason why they should reconsider that application. So whatever the reason it is, make sure that you do write a little statement stating that, and remember that you could either email it, fax it, or mail it in. The easiest way would be actually to email it, and you'll receive a confirmation saying that they received that, and it's going to be in review. For those of you that need help applying for the EIDL loan, do not worry, because I am going to help you step by step through the whole application, so that way you'll be able to get your EIDL loan as soon as possible.
So just so you could be aware, I am going to be putting a link down below, so that way you could bypass all the different sections for you to be able to get into the disaster loan assistance application. So once you're in the actual application, there's going to be 5 sections. There's going to be disclosures, business information, business owner information, additional information, and the summary. Okay, make sure that you read everything thoroughly. Now, just be aware that it does say that it could take up to like 2 hours approximately. But then again, it all depends on your business and how much information you need to input. Okay, so then in this section, you're going to choose one. So depending on what kind of business you have, if you have more than 500 employees, if you're sole proprietorship, with or without employees, or as an independent contractor, you would put it right here. So I'm going to do this one, the applicant for independent contractor. Just check to see which one applies to you, and also if you're a nonprofit organization, then you would put it right here. Okay, so then here it says review and check all of the following. So applicant must review and check all the following. If applicant is unable to check all of the following, applicant is not an eligible entity, meaning that all of this has to apply, because if you do not check off on this, then that means that you cannot proceed and you will not be an eligible entity. If the applicant is not engaged in any illegal activity, So then you will press right here, and then it says here that the applicant with a 50% or greater ownership interest, cannot be more than 60 days delinquent on child support obligations. So if you're not, check mark right there. And then here it says applicant does not present live performances or sexual nature or derive directly or indirectly more than the minimum gross revenue through the sale of products or services or the presentation of any depiction or display of prurient sexual nature. So you press right there. Applicant does not derive more than 1/3 of gross annual revenue from legal gambling activities. So if you are not a gambler, you will press right there. Applicant is not in the business of lobbying. Right there, check mark. Applicant cannot be a state, local, municipal government entity and cannot be a member of Congress. So check mark right there also. All right, so let's continue. Okay, so here you're gonna put your legal business name. So whatever the name it is, let's say ABC Travel LLC, that's it. Okay, so the trade name, if you're doing, let's say, travel by Cindy, let's say. If you have a training and you're doing travel by Cindy, then you will put it there. If you're not and you're just doing the LLC, then you will put it in the top. Here you will put your EIN number, or if you're a sole proprietorship, then what you would do is you will put your social security. So let's say there we go. So if you have an LLC, or if you're a sole proprietorship, or C corporation, S corporation, whichever one applies to you, you input it right here. So let's say in this case it's an LLC, so you put limited liability company. Is the applicant a non-profit organization? So if you are, if you're not, here's where you would input that. So here we know in this case, is the applicant a franchise? So if the applicant is not a franchise, you would put no. If it is, that there's other businesses under that umbrella, then you would put yes. So the gross revenue for the 12 months prior to the date of the disaster, which was January 31, 2020. So here, let's say for instance, the business made $100,000, right? So that's for the whole 12 months prior to the disaster. So now it's asking you cost of goods sold for the 12 months prior to the date of the disaster. So let's say for instance, if the cost of the goods sold for the 12 months was, let's say 40,000, you will put it right there. And then it says rental property, residential and commercial only, lost rents due to the disaster. So if you had a rental property, that's where you would input it right here. So it says nonprofit or agricultural enterprise cost of operation for the 12 months prior to the date of the disaster. So if this applies to you, you will input it right there. Compensation from other sources received as a result of the disaster. So let's say for instance, you got the PPP, and let's say you received 20,000, let's say, then those 20,000, obviously they're probably going to deduct it. So provide a brief description of other compensation sources. So here you put PPP, primary business address, and it cannot be a PO box. So here you will input which whatever the address it is, let's put 555 Southwest 555 Street. If that even exists. And let's put Miami, Florida, County, Miami. Let's put here 9. And business phone number. You have an alternative business phone, you have a fax, and remember, this is not mandatory, but these ones are, so make sure that you do input where you need to, the ones that are mandatory. So business email, so and the date the business was established. If you don't remember the date that your business was established, a good way of doing that is going to stuntbiz.org and looking up for your business name, and there it will show you the date that you established your business if you don't remember it. So let's say here, let's put January 1st, 2019. Current ownership since, so if you own that since 2019, we'll put the same. So here we'll go for the business activity. So in this case, since it says travel, let's see if there's anything for travel. Nope. So since there's nothing for travel, then we could have put, let's see if there's anything professional. I guess we're gonna have to put it as a business service. Then where it says detailed business activity, none of the below. And here, number of employees. So as of January 31, 2020, you need to put how many employees you had. So if you had, let's say, 5 employees, you would put 5. If it's only you, then you just put 1. If you had, 2, depending on what you had. If you had, more than 10, whatever it is. And then let's go to the next page. So now it's not letting me go to the next page because of a reason. Let's see. Okay, because of the trade name. So if there's no trade name, let's put same. So that way. Okay, here we go. Individual owner. Okay, so here's where you're gonna put the owner's information. So first and last name, mobile phone number, title, owner, manager, depending what it is. Okay, so owner, manager. Okay, and then the ownership percent. So if you own 20% or more on that entity, you do need to put the percentage. So if, let's say if it's 50%, sorry, you're gonna put 50%. If you're 100%, you're gonna put 100%, and you don't have to use the percentage sign. And then we're gonna put the email. I'm just gonna put the same one, but you could put either your personal email or your business email. And then here you're gonna put your social security number. It's asking your social security. You notice that it's not asking for your EIN, so they wanna have your social security. So whatever your social security is, you input it right there. Okay. And then your date of birth and place of birth, depending on where you were born. Are you a US citizen? Yes or no? Residential street address. Okay. So they're asking so where you actually live. Remember, the other one was for your business. This one is asking for your residential street address. So let's put here so now you see here where it says additional owner. If there's an additional owner on that on your company, on that entity, make sure that you would add it right here, and then you go through all the steps. The same thing, owner one, you would have to go through all the ones that are owners in your entity. So for now, we're just gonna leave it as one. So there's something. Okay, so date of birth. Okay, you can't put just, you have to put, I guess, 1980, because they want the full 4-digit year. Okay, so let's proceed to the next step. Oh, forgot one. Is your business owned by a business entity? So meaning, let's say for instance, we said ABC Travel, but let's say ABC Travel is part of a different company. So let's say for instance, if it belongs to, let's say, independent travel, then you would put yes. But if it's not owned by another entity, then you would put no. All right. So now where it says additional information. In the past year, has a business or a listed owner been convicted of a felony committed during and in any connection with a riot or civil disorder or other declared disaster, or even been engaged in the production or distribution of any product or service that has been determined to be obscene by a court or a competent jurisdiction? You would put yes or no if you were part of any of this. Make sure that you do put the right choice. Okay, so is the applicant or any listed owner currently suspended or debarred from contracting with the federal government or receiving federal grants or loan? Yes or no? Are you presently subject to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction? Yes or no? Within the last 5 years, for any felony, have you ever been convicted, plead guilty, plead nolo contender, been placed on pretrial diversion, or been placed on any form of parole or probation, including probation before judgment? So make sure that you read A and B and then answer it. If anyone assisted you in completing this application, whether you pay a fee for this service or not, the person must enter their information below. So if anybody helped you here, you would input it right here. But if you did it yourself, then you would actually you could bypass this information because no one actually helped you. So here it says, I give permission for SBA to discuss any portion of this application with a representative listed above. So if you did fill this out, you will put here yes to give permission, or no if you don't want to. And oh wow, so look what we have here. We have the question that we had a long time ago in March. So I would like to be considered for an advance of up to $10,000. Obviously, we're gonna press that button, and the reason that it says considered for an advance of up to 10,000, meaning because since I guess they are capping it right now at the $1,000 per employee, so up to the whole $10,000. So that's what they're saying that right now. Until anything changes, we have to go by what it says right now. So here it tells you where should they send the funds to. So here's where you're gonna put your bank information, very important. So whichever bank that you have, make sure you put your account number and your routing number. Probably they know that it's not. Okay, so here is where you would put the information after you have reviewed every single line, and this is where you're gonna certify and that all the information that you have inputted is truthful information, and you're gonna sign this under penalty for perjury under the laws of the United States that the above is true and correct. Make sure you read this correctly before you proceed. And if you agree, make sure that you put that check right there, and then you're gonna press the next button, okay? I cannot press the next button because you already know what's gonna happen after this. And we are in the last page, which would go to your summary, okay? And in the summary is where you're gonna be receiving the actual application number, which you're gonna print and save that just in case of any issues or any problems later on. So make sure that you keep everything for your records. And I hope that this information has been very helpful for you, and that you'll be able to get your money as soon as possible. I have heard it could take a few weeks, but then again, some people have been receiving it even like by the next day. So I don't know if that's gonna be your case, but I really hope it is, and I really hope that this helps a lot of people that are in need for their businesses.
This is Maribella's Voice, and remember, if you have any questions or concerns, please comment down below so that way I could answer your question as soon as I can. I hope that this was helpful, and remember to share, like, and subscribe to my channel so that way I could keep on giving you great content that is both informational and educational. See you next time.